So this is kinda crazy. When playing the New Vegas randomizer yesterday, my friend brought up a Fallout theory that, well, I'd never heard of before. And honestly, it was so intriguing that I just had to look into it for myself. This theory suggests that, well, and bear with me, okay, that the Brotherhood of Steel in the Fallout TV show, i.e. the West Coast Brotherhood of Steel, actually assimilated Caesar's Legion. Now, I know this sounds insane, but there's actually enough meat on the bone here that I can actually see this being a thing. So let's address the first thing that probably comes to a lot of your minds. For those of you who don't know, the West Coast Brotherhood of Steel has always been rather insular towards outsiders when compared to their East Coast counterparts. They send you on a death mission in Fallout 1 to the glow with no intentions of you returning, and in 2 they do a similar thing asking you to get some vertibird plans. And in New Vegas, well, they strap a bomb collar around your neck. So suffice to say, they're not exactly the friendliest. But something happens to the Brotherhood in between the events of New Vegas and the TV show. Obviously Fallout 4, but we don't get a lot referencing the West Coast Brotherhood in that game. But at the time of New Vegas, they're weak, hiding away in a bunker with their scouts being picked off. It's not until the Battle of Hoover Dam, if you don't form an allegiance with the NCR, that they retake Helios 1 in the Chaos. But what happens at the Battle of Hoover Dam canonically? Well, we obviously don't have a lot to go off in the TV show. The most we see are vertibirds crashed into a now ruined strip. Honestly, I don't think the outcome of the Battle of Hoover Dam really matters. That being said, it's most likely that a Legion victory at the dam didn't happen. My reasoning? Well, it's the least similar to all the other endings, and if they want to keep the ending ambiguous in the TV show, I don't think we'll be seeing Legion flags everywhere. So that leaves us with the Legate dead and Caesar eventually dying to his brain tumor without the Courier's intervention. The Legion here would be shattered, still potentially unified, but with a lot of infighting. They'd be nowhere near as powerful as they are in New Vegas. It's here that, well, the theory starts. With neither Caesar or the Legate surviving the events of New Vegas, the Legion would be easy pickings. I mean, what's a spear gonna do against a suit of power armor? And something tells me the Brotherhood wouldn't be the happiest when it comes to leaving all of that technology on the strip to House, Yes Man, and especially not to the NCR. It's here that I think the likelihood of the Brotherhood merging the Legion into their ranks is possible. With the Brotherhood in its weakened state, it only makes sense to grow their forces with others who similarly disdain the NCR, especially when this group's strong enough to give the NCR a run for their money not once but twice. And this is only added by the fact that they have a Securitron bunker right underneath their feet at their main camp, the Fort. Ideologically, the groups are quite similar as well. Both view technology as the cause of the Great War. The Legion show this by refusing to use it for the most part, and the Brotherhood by hoarding it so it can't be used by others. The Legion has 87 tribes worth of people for the Brotherhood to make new recruits out of. That's not a chance I think they'd pass up so easily, especially in the desperate state we find them in New Vegas. This brings us to the TV show. The Brotherhood's vibes in here are definitely different. They're a lot more fanatical and religious than they've potentially ever been, with an army bigger than we've ever seen it. We get a look at what it's like to be a recruit via Maximus. The training and the indoctrination they go under could easily be something that was established in the process of converting tribals into their ranks. And it's this shift in mentality that could be brought forward by assimilating the Legion and seeing their newfound power that could change their mentality towards outsiders, which could be why we see them in Shady Sands and subsequently recruiting Maximus. The TV show also has a lot of Legion hints in the Brotherhood with their Roman names, especially with a lot of the new faces we see. Most interestingly, the elder of this chapter, Elder Quintus, shares a name with one of Caesar's actual assassins. And yeah, that's pretty cool. It's here that a lot of the religious elements in the new Brotherhood could be rooted from as well. We saw that the Legion was able to strip these tribes of their uniqueness and unite them under one flag. So what's to say that the much more powerful Brotherhood of Steel couldn't do the same? The Brotherhood can be seen in the TV show performing rituals such as branding and having rather painfully sounding punishments for insubordination, much like Caesar's Legion. Also, instead of referring to themselves as a chapter, this group refer to themselves as a legion. So yeah, that's something else as well. Not only does this explain their massive boost in power since we saw them last, but also potentially the state we see Vegas in. The final credits of the TV show, we see a shattered Vegas that's been left in ruins. And it wouldn't be the first time that a Brotherhood would raid a place and just abandon it afterwards to struggle. This could also be how they got the resources to build their new ship we see in the TV show. It doesn't necessarily have to be East Coast intervention, as we know the Brotherhood on the West have had the means to build these since Fallout Tactics. It would explain why the NCR, which was already struggling in the Mojave, wouldn't be able to divert resources to Shady Sands if their main front lines became the Mojave, where they had to deal with a combined Brotherhood and Legion faction. This could be why we also see that crashed NCR vertibird on the Strip, remnants of a struggle that once was. It also allows for quite an interesting approach to be taken with the second season of the TV show, and conveniently avoids the question of who won the Battle of Hoover Dam, because it wouldn't really matter in this scenario. The Brotherhood would be powerful enough to take on the Securitrons with their power armor's resistance, and they'd have the manpower to clean up the NCR left in the Mojave. If the Mojave chapter were able to perform an expedition similar to the one we saw the West Coast undertake in the Pit, it would leave a lot of room for the canon endings of New Vegas' factions, by adding a whole new factor that wasn't explored in the games, a Brotherhood Legion, which is something that the showrunners said was one of the main reasons behind the TV show's existence. Also, as just a final note, in the Reddit thread discussing this theory, Alizaria commented this with regards to why the Legion would align themselves with a faction using energy weapons, and well, it's pretty interesting. It says, "Did you see one of the Brotherhood of Steel soldiers using an energy weapon in the show? I didn't. They used all ballistic weapons if I recall correctly. Also, the Legion did use remains of power armor frames to make certain pieces of armor. It's really not that far of a stretch that a single legate after the death of Caesar realized if he aligned himself with the Brotherhood and merged his men with the Brotherhood of Steel, he'd be the strongest heir of Kaiser. The Brotherhood of Steel would need soldiers to recruit, and the Legion remnants would be infighting post-Caesar. I personally believe this individual could actually be Elder Quintus himself. He says he wants to create a new Brotherhood and rule the Wastes, something that is relatively foreign to the Brotherhood of Steel in general. Ruling the Wastes and overthrowing the Elder Council to supplant it doesn't seem like something a traditional Western Brotherhood of Steel Elder would do. Also, when Maximus goes to speak to him in this scene, the imagery is extremely similar to Caesar on his throne, and the one-way sign is also a subtle clue to this. But anyways, that's gonna be all for today. This theory is pretty crazy, and honestly there's so much to go into here. I couldn't explore all of it here, but I'll leave a link to the Reddit thread if you want to go over it for yourself. With that being said though, maybe consider liking or subscribing, and I hope to see you all next time.